that there is a geographical preference in this case.
Is it not obvious? Is it not obvious? What else are we talking about here? All these things that they are throwing up, all these legal shenanigans, it will not help this case. It will not. They believe that when they keep it Nnamdi Kanu, maybe the agitation will stop. Esther, has it stopped?
No.
Has it stopped?
No.
That will tell you that there is 1,001 Nnamdi Kanu waiting to take over from him, and it may not be as quiet as it is now.
All right, Barry.
Mgbe Usman Dan Fodio buru agha nke ya wee bata wee gbugide ndị ugwu wee gbuchie ha wee were ana ha. Akụkọ ahụ ihe a na-akọrọ anyị. Akọgide aka ka Usman Dan Fodio si wee gbuchie ndị ugwu o wee bụzi ya datina onye sizi n'ugwu Hausa wee pụta mụọ agụ ụra n'ala Igbo isisi agbụghọkwana ejekwana dị ọgụ na ọ na-akpọkwa daga maka ọrụ ihe a kọrọ anyị ndị a were egwu Igbo onye Hausa mụọ agụ ụra ịgbachi ya nkịtị maka na ịma na ọ ga-ama gị daga ana ọmacha gị daga ahụ nweghị ihe ị ga-eme ndị agba ewere ụjọ wee jide anyị wee na-adagbuo onye ugwu mee gị ihe ịgbachi nkịtị ị na-edi ya mana onye nwanne gị bụ onye Igbo mee gị ihe o wee Biafra mee gị ihe isi ka egbuo ya nkịta nke echi maka na ịma na ọ naghị ama daga. Aga m agwa unu na daga anyị kịta abụrụzi against ndị Igbo. Daga anyị kịta bụ against ndị ahụ bịara ube anyị igbu anyị otu Usman Dan Fodio style. A ga-ama ha ivu eva n'ụwa niile a. Daga niile ha malụ n'ugwu Hausa anyị ga-amakarịa ha nwasef. Ebe a ka anyị nọ amachazi ya ozi onwe ya. We will now begin to idozi ana anyị dozie ana Igbo dozie ana Biafra ọ dịrị anyị mma maka na ihe anyị na-achọ ka ọ dị onye ọbụla na mma ka ihe niile a na-eme na-aga aga onye nwere isi ọgụgụ ọgụọ onye nwere isi eji alụpụta ihe o mee ya na-alụ ya na-afọ ya na ya na-eme kọmpetishọn ọhịa na-eme ka ụwa dị mma onye ọbụla na-egoli ndewo
na-eme ọ bụghị mgbe ọ gwụbara nya mere Simon Ekpa na-ekwu okwu anyị sịrị kịta go to Finland. That is why all topic engineer very soon kịta ba November all of you no need open a rubbish bụ ndị Igbo go to Finland. Simon represent Nnamdi Kanu go to Finland James gwa ya si ya gịnị ka ị na-eme ya gwe ọ bụghị mgbe ọ gwụbara agwụ na amabata ka nsu mabata na nke Nnamdi Kanu IPOB ejidego ha go to America na ị ga-afụ vidio sacha vidio ebe Nnamdi Kanu sịrị anyị ji ha na nchọrọkọtọ jee sacha vidio uche me phone ebe anyama na ebe wee kwue I am seeing everything that going on in IPOB. That is why onwe onye amụrụ nne ya amụ ma mmụọ ya mmụọ ga-abịa challenge m ihe na-agwa DOS n'ụwa ọzọ because na follow gide m Nnamdi Kanu follow every okwu ọnụ Nnamdi Kanu kwu because onye ka m kpọrọ my leader ya kụrụ kpọrọ wee kpọpụ mfirize na ndị dị ka ya ma nkwuzi okwu. Thank God ọ bụrụ na ndị thank God for ndị kpọrọ nwa ha ndị gọọmenti the same thing thank God for Simon Ekpa thank God because ọ bụrụ na ya nwa akwụdo nwe ihe a anyị nara ana because na ejidego ndị dị ka anyị kurisi anyị nkuri na eji ịbịa na obi nwanne ha na-adụm doka ịbịa na IPOB na-adụm doka ịbịa na media na-agba ọsọ ya na-agwazi m mmadụ one na watch kwanụ gị enwere ihe nji mmadụ eme anaghị m aserve human being. Na Simon Ekpa pụtara na-etikwa mkpu n'ụzọ Biafra si na ihe ọ ga-akpọ nke bụ Biafra government which is not that Biafra government ka Nnamdi Kanu kwuru that na ọ bụrụ that na ndị mmadụ tetecha a ga-ejizi Biafra government wee mee gịnị wee complete our journey efu na ọnya ka o bidokwara ihe a and ije na structure ya carry every indigenous people along na ọ bụ because na ị ga na-efili na ọ bụrụ gị mere maka na uche na-abịa abịa. I have told you people na Biafra struggle bụ ọsọ osisi ọsọ race ọ bụ na ịgbakọta ike gwụgo emena anya ukwu emena na ijemhozi were osisi ahụ nye nwanne gị n'ọnya ka na-akpọ nwanne na anya ụkọ nwanne na ọgba ụfụfụ bụ na mgbe ọbụla ọ fịabara gara gwa nwanne gị na ọfịabago gara complete ere gị na ọ bụ na nwanne gị nwetara na ọgụ nwetara ọ bụ na ọgụ nwetara nwanne gị nwetara onye ka na-akpọ ofu obi. Na Simon Ekpa pụtara na-etikwa mkpu.
Our promise is very simple. If they fail to give us Biafra, Somalia will look like a paradise compared to what will happen to that zoo. It is a promise, it is a pledge, and it's also a threat to them.
We have come to do what the class of 67 to 70 couldn't do very gallantly, of course. We have come to commence a war that will last forever and ever until Biafra comes. That is one thing you must understand. Once we commence, we never ever stop. If we have to fight a war for 1,000 years, so be it. Once we start, we will never ever stop until Biafra comes. All our enemies will hunt them down. We are all over the world. Do you understand that? In over 80 countries of the world and counting. 88 at the last count. There is nowhere you cannot find Biafrans. If we deploy our intellect, our scientific know-how, if we deploy everything that we know to the pursuit of this very glory from heaven, we'll get it. Anything standing in our way, I feel sorry for it. If you think our fathers built Ogbunigwe in those days, you're dreaming. We have better, more sophisticated ones now. Once we start, I feel sorry for the zoo. Anywhere they like, they can run to. If they like, let them go and run into a pipe, oil pipe in Namibia. God in heaven knows who will find them, will kill you. We want you to understand that. We have come to get our country. That is all we're interested in. If you have common sense, which I know some of you don't have, you will leave us alone. If you know how angry we are, if you know how upset we are, I swear to heaven, you will run away and I'm telling you the truth. Because the world will not have seen anything like us before. We are not asking for anybody's country. We are not asking for anything that doesn't belong to us. All we are saying to our Fulani, Yoruba, and those that support them, leave us alone for goodness sake. When we are free before Lugard came, just leave us alone. Leave us alone, please. If you want oil, take oil and get away. We want to be free, to be developed as sensible human beings. I am tired of living like a monkey and a baboon. My education cannot be wasted on me. I am an economist. There are those of them around me who are lawyers, some are engineers. We know what we can do to make our place better. We know what to do, the type of economy to run to make life easier for everybody. We want to be given the opportunity to practice what we have studied in our own land without any intimidation. With the continued existence of the zoo, we will become intimidated, and we don't want that.
Today, we are all witnesses to the heart-wrenching situation in Gaza and other Palestinian territories. We cannot discuss war and peace, conflicts and resolution, or humanitarian imperatives today without reflecting on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict that has been raging since 7th August last year. Of course, the conflict predates this period and has been simmering for a better part of half a century. What it tells us is that the international community has failed to live up to the spirit and aspirations of the United Nations to rid the world of inequality, violence, and domination of one people by another. Justice is antithetical to revenge. Freedom is an inalienable right and a natural entitlement that cannot be denied to any people. The Palestinian people deserve their independence. They deserve to have a home of their own in territories already recognized by this very assembly and by international law, which is being routinely ignored. Nigeria continues to urge efforts to bring back on track the two-state solution that offers the prospect for a new beginning for the region. Nigeria reaffirms to supporting United Nations peacekeeping operations. We recognize the need for Africa to build strong and professional armies to meet the multiple challenges we face. Consequently, we reiterate the call for international support to operationalize the African Standby Force, in addition to the provision of requisite support and resources to ensure the upgrade, take-up, and effectiveness of a Center of Excellence on issues of counterterrorism in Africa. Mr. President, reform of the Security Council is critical if the UN is to strengthen its relevance and credibility in our rapidly changing world. Some permanent members of the United Nations Security Council have offered encouraging, if tentative, indications of support on the issue of reform.
As we engage in these annual debates, we need to remind ourselves of the principles that led to the founding of the United Nations. Among those are peaceful coexistence and self-determination of peoples. In this context, Mr. President, the unresolved question of self-determination for the Palestinian people and those of Western Sahara, both nations having been adjudged by the United Nations as qualifying for this inalienable right, must now be assured and fulfilled without any further delay or obstacle. The international community has come to pin its hopes on the resolving Palestinian issue through the two-state solution, which recognizes the legitimate right of each state to exist in peace and security. The world has no more excuses or reasons to delay the implementation of the long list of Security Council resolutions on this question. Neither do we have the moral right to deny any people their freedom or condemn them indefinitely to occupation and blockade. Mr. President, delegates of member countries, United Nations is 70 years old. It can.
There is a man called Ifeanyi, they said he's from Nnewi. As soon as this whole thing started, he went about lying to the presidency of the zoo that he talks to me every day. I have never in my life spoken to Ifeanyi before. I have not. He kept using the name of IPOB to extort money. Very comfortable individuals in and around the Nnewi during this period. He has been going around duping people, obtaining money from them with falsehood, because he claimed that he will defend their properties for them and prevent our angry young people from attacking them.
The allegations of IPOB and all of that, but IPOB has come out and emphatically said, and I believe them, that they are no longer part of this criminal gang, as it were. And they are now working with us, and we'll probably see their own actions in the next few days, and the people are waiting to see what they can or cannot do to join us. And we called on them on the day of our inauguration, that if you are not part of this,
they told us, they came to us and said we should, the governors came, not the army now. The governors came and said we should hand over Eastern Security Network to them so that they will be paying these young men salaries and put them on salary scale and the rest of it. And now they feel that they have gotten all they want. These men, this camp has become the expendable for them. Now they were able suddenly to be able to go in and attack and destroy this. Of course, it's good that they took away these villains that had been causing a lot of trouble for the Biafran people. But that is if they are not going to relocate them to another place and then begin to continue their trouble. But we are waiting for them, and we are ready for them. And while we are on this, I am appealing to the governors of the Eastern region. In fact, not only the Eastern region now, I mean the whole of the Eastern region, the Biafran states, from Ebonyi to Delta to Bayelsa to Rivers and name it, all of you, all your governors, what I'm asking you to do tonight, Abia State Governor, I know that you will not fail your people, that your name, that the poor people will continue to talk about you. Anambra State Governor, that the people will talk about you. Enugu State Governor, Ebonyi State, Delta State, Rivers State, all of you.
We will burn Nigeria down. That is what it requires to protect our people, protect our land. We will burn them down. And after that, therefore we come. I want you to understand that if you want peace, you prepare for war. What I've seen for the past 2 years is nothing to write home about. It's not anywhere in the media. Our people are being butchered, head chopped off by the people who are supposed to be protecting those people. The people they call governors the southeast part of Biafra has become the tools and the killing machine. We are not going to forgive them. Watching the program, do not allow Satan enter you. Only him and his God knows why he said such to me.
Oh, yes.
Already, the Prime Minister has made remarkable progress and has outsmarted the Nigerian system in many ways. The Prime Minister has done this with the self-referendum. He has done this with opening diplomatic liaison offices around the world. And I think by establishing a proper Biafran lobby in Washington, D.C., the Prime Minister has delivered his master stroke. And if you can look at the Nigerian media and the social media, you will see that this is something that's been highly publicized.
Program. I say, God, give me 1,000 men wisdom. And you know what? God answered that prayer in abundance. So every problem that have come, God already positioned and put something how to handle it. In fact, I don't think that I have used up to 100 or 50 of those wisdoms, because the problem that is coming is very, all of them look very small. So as it stands now, Nnamdi Kanu is coming out. I have not even used 50 of the wisdom of 1,000 wisdom God gave me. Because, I am telling you, I have not used it. In fact, some of the problems solve itself without me even addressing it. For us, anything you did not hear from this platform doesn't exist until Nnamdi Kanu comes out. And when Nnamdi Kanu is going to come out, it will shock all of you. Yeah. And let me tell you one thing again. Do not think that Biafrans are fools. When you release Nnamdi Kanu, he must come to Finland. It's a condition. I will sit one-on-one with him. I have said this thing 2 years ago. They thought I was joking. He will come to Finland. The reason I'm fighting for him is that I supported him. I gave him a voice. I gave him a support and gave him the courage to continue doing what he was doing until he got kidnapped. You think I'm going to abandon him? You think I'm going to abandon Nnamdi Kanu? Even if he come today and they say, Simon Ekpa, I don't know you. Simon, you think I'm going to abandon him? Because I know he can never say such thing under his normal, conscience. Because I contributed in supporting him, giving him the voice that you see him as a threat. You kidnap him. And then today, you want me to abandon him. I will not abandon him. Everything I'm doing today is geared at making sure that I demand his release. And if you do not release him, more calamity will befall Nigeria. Go and mark it somewhere. I'm not hiding my mouth. Calamity will befall Nigeria. And if you continue to be in Biafra land, planning how to kill our people with aircraft, with armor tank, you will all be neutralized. Except I am not fighting a just cause. You should be ashamed of yourself that somebody is in Finland and that person is your problem. I wonder, I will be your end in Biafra liberation. Mua ga kuchi te unu, kuchi ma ike unu, kuchi ebunu si anyunsi. Obono ebunu si anyunsi kunu si emebi Biafra. Aga ma kuchia ya gwogwo. Obono onu unu je ri nni kunu je emebi. Aga ma kuchi onu unu. Kuchia ya pim until Biafra come. Mpope again. So I will be your last bus stop. For us, anything you did not hear from this platform doesn't exist until Nnamdi Kanu comes out. And when Nnamdi Kanu is going to come out, it will shock all of you. You're watching the program. Do not allow Satan enter you. Only him and his God knows why he said such to me.
Mgbe Usman Dan Fodio buru agha nke ya wee bata wee gbugide ndị ugwu wee gbuchie ha wee were ana ha. Akụkọ ahụ ihe a na-akọrọ anyị. Akọgide aka ka Usman Dan Fodio si wee gbuchaa ndị ugwu o wee bụzi ya datina onye sizi n'ugwu Awụsa wee pụta mụọ agụ ụrọ n'ala Igbo isisi agbakwana ejekwana dị ọgụ na ọ na-agbakwa daga maka ọrụ ihe a kọrọ anyị ndị a were egwu onye Awụsa mụọ agụ ụra ịgbachi ya nkịtị maka na ịma na ọ ga-ama gị daga ana ọmacha gị daga ahụ nwe ihe ị ga-eme ndị a wee were ụjọ wee jide anyị wee na-adagbuo onye ugwu mee gị ihe ịgbachi nkịtị ị na-edi ya mana onye nwanne gị bụ onye ugwu mee gị wee Biafra mee gị ihe isi ka egbuo ya nkịta nkịtị maka na ịma na ọ naghị ama daga. Aga m agwa unu na daga anyị kịta abụrụzi against ndị Igbo, daga anyị kịta bụ against ndị ahụ bịara ube anyị igbu anyị kwotu Usman Dan Fodio style. Aga m ha ibu ụwa niile a daga niile ha malụ n'ugwu Awụsa anyị ga-amakarịa ha nwasef.
And if people to disintegrate the zoo shouldn't come to anybody as a surprise. Our promise is very simple. If they fail to give us Biafra, Somalia will look like a paradise compared to what will happen to that zoo. It's a promise, it is a prayer, it's a pledge, and also a threat to them. They must understand this, that we've had enough of this nonsense.
Self-preservation must be protected at all costs. Today, the Biafra Liberation Army have neutralized dozens of these terrorists in our land, and we are proud of them. They will continue to go down. Our demand is very simple. Pull them out of Biafra land. Remove every checkpoint. If you do not dismantle all the checkpoints, they will continue to die. We will continue to excel. We will continue to deal with Nigeria, and Nigeria will never ever remain the same until Biafra exits from Nigeria. A government that uses violence will be responded with the same and equal measure of violence in self-defense.
That Nnamdi Kanu asks Simon Ekpa, don't allow Satan to enter you. If you have any other person that Nnamdi Kanu told such thing, please come forward. I want you to come forward. Do you have any other person? I am the only living Biafra publicly. Nnamdi Kanu asks in the public, in the presence of the entire world watching the program, do not allow Satan enter you.
My fellow Biafrans, in the early hour of today, 1st October 2024, the Biafra Defense Forces has destroyed, neutralized the proposed facility that was built to house and train Boko Haram in a place called Ehimembano in Imo State, former Imo State. Any more of such facility will be destroyed by Biafra forces. We call on Biafrans to give credible information on any further project of the Nigeria terrorist state targeted at bringing in Boko Haram for training in Biafra land, or to be used to house fighters that the intention was to use against Biafra forces. Because the Nigeria terrorist army has been defeated, and all they do is to bring in fighters in whatever guise.
Correct and just, and we were the warriors. It was the Biafra War. And I remember very distinctly thinking, this just isn't right. This isn't right. This is a great people. It is a great nation. There was a country. And then later when I learned, something most people don't know, that there is a plausible argument that democracy began in Igbo land. The very first written constitution on this planet was written by the Igbo people. The very first democracy that involved self-governance, that worked for everybody, not just the Greek wealthy, but everybody, was in Igbo land. And the very first democracy that permitted women leaders was in Igbo land. The West, Europe, we were still in the Dark Ages. And yet the Igbo had figured out a way to have a just and meaningful government and a just and meaningful society and due process.
And let me make this very clear to you, you are under oath.
Yes.
And by virtue of that oath, you are under direct order from me.
Yes.
Any day you wake up, you hear I've been arrested, born Nigeria down. Yes, sir.
peace in this state is under assault. There's an attempt at ethnic cleansing in this state and, of course, in all the riverine states of Nigeria. We must resist it. We must stop it. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
Through government, what did they do? They returned their award. And like I promised Nigeria, if they have not received the medal that I won for Nigeria so many years ago, they are going to receive it as soon as possible. Because today I denounce Nigeria, and everything I am going to be doing, and like I have done in the past, will continue to do, will be for the best interest of the restoration of Biafra and for the Biafra people. I have no contact. I cut every ties with Nigeria. I cannot be part of a terrorist country. I cannot be part of a country that sponsors the killing of their own people. I cannot be part and proud to call myself Nigeria or even have anything associated with Nigeria. So the fight between the Biafra people and Nigeria from today is the restoration and the total liberation of Biafra people from Nigeria. Thank you very much. And let it be in the history of this freedom fighting that Simon Ekpa on this day, in case if you think that my own Biafra is the one I am doing and then I will be going back and start collecting money or start having meeting with politicians. Never. Let it be on record that on this day, the 2nd day of April, 2022, I denounced Nigeria. Although I have denounced Nigeria before, but I think maybe to some people it may not be enough. So today I officially destroy the passport of Nigeria that I have in public and on live broadcast that I have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with Nigeria. The only ties between me and Nigeria is to fight until the entire world will remember that Biafra people have been treated very badly.
About Simon Ekpa, it's not bringing him down. Ikenga, when I called the embassy of Finland here in Canada, I felt stupid. I felt stupid. I felt stupid. Your fake news about Simon Ekpa is not bringing him down. Ikenga, when I called the embassy of Finland here in Canada, I felt stupid. I felt stupid. I felt stupid.
We have recruited more members of the media to contain this attack and the media war against IPOB. And I can tell you, we have up to 500,000 IPOB who are correspondents, who pass information on the media.
Are you hearing that?
Sometimes some people will...
They have recruited more than 500,000.
Lekwa Nigeria ma dosa ya Chineke na de ngosi onye ọbụla na-ekpe ekpere ka Nigeria wee wuru ofu nna nke bridge ndị dị etu a wee laa ha n'iyi Chineke na kiwe biko bịa kiwe kpọọ ha ọkụ kpee ezinụlọ ha ọkụ ka ha ra agbanyeghị ndị ha bụ ọbụladị ndị ụkọchukwu onye ọbụla mehụrụ ọnụ ma kulie wee sị na ọ ga-adịrị Nigeria na mma ọ ga-adịrị onye ahụ na mma na ezinụlọ na mma site gosi wee na-eme n'ụbọchị nketa obodo kwensu bụ zoo Nigeria. Lekwa Nigeria ma dosa ya Chineke na de ngosi onye ọbụla na-ekpe ekpere ka Nigeria wee wuru ofu nna nke bridge ndị dị etu a wee laa ha n'iyi Chineke na kiwe biko da kiwe bo hoko. Bo hoko peso no hoko. Kahara, abone ngende habu. Ola ndo kochukwu. Onye ola me hono makulie we si. Now ga dey Nigeria na
I'm not quite sure that Nnamdi retains control of the streets the way that we would like to think he does. In his absence, you know, a vacuum was created. That young man sitting in Finland, Sam Ekpa, who's sort of been sending out instructions to Ipob members on the street in terms of the Monday sit at home and all of that, seems to be fully, you know, in charge, particularly of the sort of more violent elements within that party. And I just wonder whether releasing Nnamdi Kanu will have the sort of impact that we think it will have. Having said that, I do think it is not something that should be dismissed. It should be considered. And even if it's a reduction we get as a result of that release, then it will be worth your while. But you mustn't forget that he has jumped bail before, on the other hand.
Well, that's
so
why
you can
say...
Not even to talk about just communicating with him for anything. I want the evidence. Any day you bring evidence of me communicating with any of them since I joined Biafra struggle, please, once you bring it, I will quit. And this is a challenge. It's a challenge. So it's a challenge that those who want Simon Ekpa out of the way should take up this challenge. I want you to give me where I am communicating with anybody from House of Assembly. In fact, no, House of Assembly is too much. In fact, let me bring it down. I want you to bring evidence of Simon Ekpa communicating with a councillor, a serving councillor in Nigeria, from councillor to governor, from councillor, House of Assembly member, a senator, House of Representative, commissioner. Bring it. Since I joined this Biafra, so if you bring it, I will quit. I have been challenged.
I am talking about the ISIS, the Boko Haram, the Al Qaeda that is coming, and what you people have also heard. What you see here is the logistics. What you see here is the logistics of Boko Haram, sponsored by the Emirates. Are you seeing it? You see all these things in that consignment coming through the northern Nigeria border is what they are using. They are going to use to invade the southern Nigeria. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? The only solution to this madness is the disintegration of Nigeria. Are you supporting it, or you are still waiting until the logistics in this thing you see here begin to descend on you in the southern Nigeria? Oduduwa and Biafra. Are you listening? This is just the beginning. Support Nigeria disintegration.
Yando kura. Dari nungudu rumah rewaro. Sirere ya.
How are we going to resolve the crisis in the Southeast?
Well, Southeast, I was encouraged by what I heard. Nobody told me. Two statements from the South. One by elderly people.
Southeast.
No, South. Yes, by elderly people. They said this time around there will be no access to sea. I'm sure you will understand what they mean. Again, the youth made the same statement. That encouraged me. So that Ipob is just like a dot in a circle. If they want to exist, they would have no access to anywhere. And the way they are spread all over the country, having businesses, having property, I think Ipob doesn't know what they are talking about. In any case, we said we'll talk to them in the language they understand. They said this time around there will be no access to sea. I'm sure you will understand what they mean. Again, the youth made the same statement. That encouraged me. So that Ipob is just like a dot in a circle. If they want to exist, they would have no access to anywhere. And the way they are spread all over the country, having businesses, having property, I think Ipob doesn't know what they are talking about. In any case, we said we'll talk to them in the language they understand. We'll organize the police and the military to pursue them. That's what we can do. And we will do it. Elderly people. No, south. Yes, by elderly people. They said this time around there will be no access to sea. I'm sure you will understand what they mean. Again, the youth made the same statement. That encouraged me. So that Ipob is just like a dot in a circle. If they want to exist, they would have no access to anywhere. And the way they are spread all over the country, having businesses, having property, I think Ipob doesn't know what they are talking about. In any case, we said we'll talk to them in the language they understand. We'll organize the police and the military to pursue them. That's what we can do. And we will do it.
Counselor, a serving counselor in Nigeria, from counselor
for the President of the United States of America, right? I've secured my vote. I've just done voting. I've done voting. Biafrans in Georgia, go and vote. Biafrans all over the United States, check if the early voting has started in your communities. Go and vote massively. You all know who's going to give us Biafra, right? You all know who's going to give us Biafra, right? You all know the presidential candidate we've been meeting with. You know the presidential candidate that will give us Biafra. Please go and cast your vote. Do it early so that you don't get caught up. I voted. Here is my tag. I secured my vote. Go and secure your vote. It is your duty. Dear friends, go do this now. Do not wait till the last moment. You know who's going to give us Biafra, right? Let's do it. Thank you.
Frankly, exhausted of Brett.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam Vice President.
You and I both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
but
people
you're the
have
lever
become.
Of power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, frankly,
everything is clear. We cannot analyze because of some kind of situation now. We are going for Trump. Automatic. We are going for Trump. So if you have not voted, try to vote. So dear friends, we love you. Very happy. This is prehistory of the downfall of Nigeria and the resurrection of Biafra. We are keeping the record. This is Biafran gospel and the Bible. What you will tell your own children and the upcoming generation. Day one. We love you.